This podcast includes graphic material of sexual assault and murder. Viewer discretion is advised.
Boudreau was born in Ontario, Canada, but grew up in Clark's Harbour in the land of Nova Scotia. Not much is known about Penny Boudreau's childhood. However, she later claimed her mother had committed suicide when Boudreau was very young. As a result of this traumatic event, Boudreau felt very awkward in social relationships and situations. Despite her insecurities, Penny met a man named Paul, whom she later married. In 1995, Penny Boudreau gave birth to her daughter, Karissa Boudreau. Karissa was a bright and energetic child who loved looking after animals and dancing. She was said to be a very cheerful and considerably bubbly girl who was looking forward to becoming a teenager. Penny and her husband Paul eventually broke up, but split the custody of Karissa between them. Penny and her daughter Karissa fought frequently, to the point where Penny's current boyfriend, Vermin McCumber, would get frustrated and tired of the mother and daughter screaming matches. Sometimes the arguing was so loud that neighbors close by complained, causing Penny to be threatened with an eviction if the screaming between her and her daughter did not stop. As a result of the angry fights, Paul would take his daughter for the summer of 2007, where he and his daughter lived somewhat peacefully. At the end of the summer, little 12-year-old Karissa told her dad she wanted to see her mom again. Paul was a little anxious, as the two had been known for their angry disagreements and fights, and he wanted his daughter to feel safe. However, at the end of the conversation, Paul agreed to his daughter's request, as Karissa did love her mom despite the fighting, and should be able to visit Penny. Paul figured Penny would at least keep their energetic 6th grader safe. On January 27, 2008, Karissa and her mother had been fighting once again, and this time Penny's boyfriend, Vermin McCumber, finally had enough of the fighting. Vermin confronted Penny, telling her he was sick of her and Karissa's constant fighting, and if she wanted to stay with him, it was either Karissa or himself. Karissa and Penny were on a drive that night towards a grocery store, fighting with each other as they drove along. After getting out of the car, Penny claimed she went inside the store and came back to the car, finding Karissa had run away. Penny drove home and reported her daughter missing to police, right before a massive snowstorm hit the region. The small community of Bridgewater desperately searched for the missing girl, trying not to think the worst of the young girl being lost in a blizzard. Rescue teams searched desperately, while people passed out missing person flyers to anyone who entered the area. Penny even went on a news broadcast and begged the public to find her beloved daughter Karissa, repeating the words, "I just want you to come home," she pleaded. "We all love you, Karissa. I love you." On the 9th of February, a motorist passed by a rural road and found the frozen body of Karissa Boudreau, who had her pants down to her knees. The entire town was devastated at young Karissa's death. The town was also scared and angry by what looked like Karissa had been sexually assaulted. The town littered the area where her body had been found with teddy bears, crosses, and hearts, anything they could find to pay respect to the young life that had been lost. The town even had their own funeral for little Karissa and wished her well in the afterlife. Penny made a statement to the community, saying she was devastated by Karissa's death, despite being fairly stone-faced during the little girl's funeral, as other family members cried around her. Police did not trust Penny Boudreau, as she became rather emotionless after her daughter's death. Penny also moved to Halifax not long after the murder, causing police to start to suspect her for Karissa's death. In a controversial move, some undercover police officers had posed as mafia bosses and questioned Penny about her daughter's death, claiming they could make any evidence go away if needed. Penny Boudreau fell for the fake mafia bosses and began to explain in detail how she had murdered her own daughter, who was only 12 years old. On January 27th, 2008, Penny already had a plan as to what she wanted to do with Karissa. When Penny pulled into the grocery store parking lot, she went inside the building alone and called her boyfriend Vermin Macabre to say that Karissa went missing and she wasn't in the car. After telling Vermin she was going to look around a bit for Karissa, Penny went back outside and got in the car with Karissa and drove her down a rural road, their argument continuing. Penny then forced Karissa out of the car and tackled her to the ground. Using a long piece of twine, she began to strangle Karissa to death. Penny watched the light drain from the little girl's eyes as Karissa clutched the ground and desperately yelled, "Mommy, no, please, no." When Karissa was dead, Penny heartlessly threw her in the trunk of the car and drove her to a nearby rural creek. Penny then took the young girl's body out of the trunk and took her pants down in a lazy attempt to make her daughter's death look like a sexual attack. Penny then drove home and acted as if her daughter ran away. Penny Boudreau was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. Vermin Macabre was horrified by his girlfriend's actions, completely destroyed that his words of "it's me or her" could have possibly motivated Penny to do such a horrible thing. When Vermin had said it was him or her, he meant something had to be done between the arguing of Penny and Karissa. Paul, aka Karissa's father, was in a state of denial for a while, but later found himself devastated by his ex-wife's terrible actions. According to the CTV news article, Paul said, "I guess it's just now starting to hit me. I think I'm just realizing the loss here and there," he said as he held a Father's Day present Karissa once gave to him. "I went over to her grave there a couple of Friday nights ago, and I was fine until I hit the causeway to Barrington. And it just hit me. The closer I got, the worse I felt." Penny Boudreau's sentencing was delayed multiple times, causing the family of Karissa a lot of anxiety and stress, which is a common trait in Canada's court system. Finally, Penny came into court for sentencing and began crying before anyone spoke to her. On her way out, multiple townsfolk called her a murderer and a child killer. One prosecutor addressed Penny during the sentencing. The prosecutor told Penny Boudreau that "Mommy, no" would be the words that will haunt her for the rest of her life. Eventually, Penny Boudreau pled guilty to second-degree murder, which would give her a slightly lesser jail sentence, and in return would let Karissa's family not have to go through a trial that would bring up morbid details of their child's death. Penny was given a life sentence, and in Canada, that means 25 years. In 2018, Penny Boudreau was given the right to leave prison 4 times a year on escorted visits to church. Penny claims she found God, and as a result, wants to go to church. Canadian psychologists also suggest that Penny is very unlikely to reoffend due to her only killing Karissa to become closer to her boyfriend. Penny Boudreau has also attended multiple therapy meetings, and now states that if she had gotten therapy during Karissa's short lifetime, she would not have let things turn out the way they did, and Karissa would still be alive and not dead because of her. Karissa is missed by her loving dad and everyone who knew her. The town of Bridgewater has named her Bridgewater's daughter for her rewarding smile and energy. She will be deeply missed